Hey friends, welcome back to the whiteboard and welcome to 2022. I'm Blaine from Applied Leadership Partners, and today I want to talk to you a little bit about impact, or maybe more specifically about how we can reframe our thinking around impact and shift our perspective to something that looks a little more like contribution. And in talking with a lot of business people, leaders, entrepreneurs, and people out there, it's become very clear to me, and I've felt this myself, many of us really wrestle with the idea of making an impact, right? And I think largely it comes from a good place because we want to take our considerable, talents, gifts, privileges, whatever, and we want to use them in a positive way. We want to do something with our lives. We want our work and our lives to matter. I think that's totally normal. Again, I've really felt that myself, and I understand where we're coming from. But it sometimes has some undesirable side effects, and we get stuck at times in this sort of tension or friction, frankly, between thinking that what we do matters so much and it has to be perfect and we can't let ourselves down, we can't let others down, it just matters so much. And then sometimes we realize that's not really the case, or doesn't appear to be the case at least, and we can be all the way on the other side where we just feel like, what does it all matter? It's all just kind of insignificant. And that's a very common sort of back and forth that we find ourselves in. And what I've personally found, and maybe it's just semantics, but I've seen this in my own life. If we take what I would find to be a very valuable reframe and think about our work and our lives really more as a contribution, it can help to bring that down a little bit, help us to focus on the things that we can control and that really matter, and just kind of do the next best thing. And so there are a few ways I think that are helpful to look at this. The first is, let's take the focus off of ourselves for a little bit and just turn it to others. So when we think about making an impact, or leaving a legacy, right? We're thinking a lot about ourselves, if we're being honest. We're thinking about, what mark am I gonna make on the world? Or as Steve Jobs said, can I make a dent in the universe? And that's pretty lofty stuff. And again, the focus is really on ourselves. We wanna think about, what will we be remembered for? What difference will we make? How can I, get people to know me or remember me? And I would submit maybe that's not super healthy, but what we can do is instead think about, who do we have in our lives? What are the people or the issues, the things that we actually care about? What do they need? And how can we make a positive and meaningful contribution to those things? So, that could be your partner, your kids, your colleagues, your employees, your customers. What do they need? And what are the things I can do, perhaps small, perhaps bigger, that will help them achieve what they're trying to do in their lives? And this requires us to do a couple things. It requires us first to listen, right? We have to ask and listen. What is it that's important to you? Pay attention. Think about that. And then we can step in or come alongside. We can join them and help them to do some things. Maybe it's making a connection. Maybe it's just some encouragement, right? Maybe that's helping them look at a presentation they've got to get. But we can contribute to the success of others, to the people and the things that matter around us. And there's a lot of significance in that. I think we all can agree. So we need to do those things. The next thing that's helpful here to remember is that we can really lead without authority. You can make a difference in the world around you without any particular role or title. And Brandon and I in our business get asked this all the time, is how can I be more effective at leading informally or leading without authority? And usually where we encourage people to start is build trust and demonstrate some value. And maybe said differently, that's, make a contribution. Demonstrate to others that you care about what they care about and you're willing to put in a little work and a little effort. You've noticed what matters to them and you're gonna be of value to them. You're gonna help out. You care about their goals or the collective goals. And there's nothing that's gonna make you more valuable and frankly more valued in an organization and give you the permission, the ability to lead without authority, like your efforts to contribute to the success of others and to the whole. And the last piece here is a little bit more philosophical, but there's a phrase, it's the fourth agreement in the Four Agreements book. If you haven't read that, I recommend it. But you'll find it in every major kind of philosophical or spiritual tradition. It's this idea that we're all connected. We're all kind of universally connected in some way, shape, or form. And we're also very small in the grand scheme of things. And that can be hard to reconcile in our head. There's like this, well, I'm sort of small, so am I insignificant? Or are we all connected, so everything I do matters a lot? And that can cause us to be a little arrogant at times by thinking too much of ourselves, right? But the fourth agreement reminds us just to do our best. And I really like that. It's 3 simple words that are very calming for me. So whenever I feel like what I'm doing matters a lot, or when I feel like, what does it all matter? I'm too insignificant. I'm just reminded to do my best. So whether I'm doing something that's small, something that seems really big and important, all I can really do is to do my best, because everything I do matters in some way. There's a ripple effect for sure, but nothing I do is going to change the world by itself or on its own or overnight. And so the best way to sort of not be arrogant but not be indifferent is just to remind yourself to do your best. So as you look into 2022 and you think about like the impact you want to make or what your goals are, we just want to encourage you to maybe think a little differently about it, maybe reframe it and think about what kinds of contributions do I want to make in the upcoming year? How can I focus on others? How can I be good at leading even without authority? And how can I just get up every day and in every task, big and small, do my best? And I think if you're able to do that, you're going to feel really fulfilled. And I think you are ultimately going to make a big impact and do a lot of important work. So we're excited to hear from you. We're excited to see it out there. Have a very happy new year, and let us know if we can ever be helpful.